So we'll give it a couple minutes for people to join in here.
Hey, Michael, while we're waiting, I had a quick question for you. This is Dan Norris.
Hi, Dan.
I noticed like on CB Buzz, and this might sound trivial, but because I pride myself being somewhat technical myself, but what is there a free program out there or anything for editing photos that you could recommend? Because I noticed like somebody when they post, we're now in escrow across a photo of the place or something. What are they using, or what is a good tool to use to do something like that?
I know everybody has like their favorite stuff. I've used a program called Moldiv in the past. I've used Ripple. Tried using Snapseed. I mean, some people are just doing it Instagram directly.
Okay.
There's plenty of like ones you can do from your phone. So I just go on the App Store and take a look at a couple of options and try them. So
Okay. Yeah, Ripple I've tried before. I actually forgot about that one.
Yep. And there's
all right. Thank you for this.
Yep. And Nick's here now. So
hello.
Perfect.
And Nick's got a tie and a coat. Oh my gosh.
Look at this. I told myself today, I said, dress for success, people. Let's do it. Let's do it. No, I just thought, you know, I used to wear ties every day, and I'm like, we should just get back to some normalcy, right? So there you go.
I agree.
Hi, Mr. Michael. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So I know Vicky wanted to start it off with a couple words, and then we'll get rolling here. So, and Vicky, you're muted.
That's how people would like me to be. So anyway, I wanted to just first of all thank you, the two of you, for doing this today, and also tomorrow kind of promote our how to market yourself on a shoestring budget. So we have some panelists that are going to share that with us, because money is obviously an issue, but you can get yourself out there and promote yourself and or your properties. But I'm going to turn it over to Nicole Tootle to kind of talk about the AMP program that you're launching next week. And so, Nicole, if you do that, I'm so happy you're doing that. I know you're doing your first Zoom one, so thank you for that. And then you guys take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. So yes, starting on Monday is our first via Zoom AMP class. Me and Nick are super excited to take on this challenge, right, and going Zoom, because we've always done it in person. So AMP is our 4-week class that we do on Monday and Fridays for 2 hours each day on Note. And we're really going to talk you through of how to amplify your business. So if you start looking at your social media emails, you're going to start seeing the, I believe, the Zoom link. And then also, we do integrate this with our CBU University, and our ZAP and RE scoreboard. So for everybody in there that is interested, you're able to go into Coldwell Banker University, look for the AMP live in session, and click the register button. And then you'll be able to see CBCA AMP live via Zoom. So you're able to go ahead and start logging on and doing that. And we're excited to see everybody starting Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Nick, do you have anything you wanted to add about AMP? I love AMP. I really love seeing the progress.
I want to let you guys know that we have had so much success with AMP. And what it really is you get an entire week of prospecting, you get an entire week on business planning, you get an entire week on buyers, an entire week on sellers, and it really encompasses the business. I've seen people who are seasoned 25 years take away tips and tricks from AMP. I've seen people who are brand new accelerate their business fast going through AMP. So if you have not taken it, or I can even just tell everybody on this call, if you haven't taken it with Nicole and I, you're missing out. So we put our
absolutely true.
We put our spin on it, and I'm really excited because I'm sure we'll have Michael Wysocki, and I know we're going to have Vicky with us as well. So they'll be providing their 2 cents, I'm sure, along the way. So would love to have you guys on with us. Again, it is a 4-week commitment. I do highly recommend coming to all 4 weeks. You do have the option, obviously, to just not show up for a Zoom call, as always, but you get a lot more out of it if you stay with us Monday and Friday through that time.
Don't give them that option, Nick. They have to be there.
Right. And we have actually on the digital calendar we send, the hyperlink is right there to register. So you can just go to the calendar and click on the link and you're in.
You guys are all set. Okay, back to the two wonderful Michael and Nicholas. Go ahead and take it away.
All right, well, I'm gonna start sharing the screen if Nick wants to chat for a second while I get that.
Yeah, so,
here.
It's funny, like Michael and I were trying to talk last week about PowerPoint and he was like, hey, we're doing this class, what are we doing? And I said, well, that's a great question. I use PowerPoint all the time and I create presentations for trainings and even just home buyer seminars. And I've done a couple of templates that I'm going to show you guys today. And then Michael said, well, I really use it for, creating some graphics and really teaching, being able to use it for my business to create pieces that I can print out and use on my social media. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome because we both use it for sounds like two totally different reasons. And I'm sure they overlap to some degree as well. So he's going to share his screen. We'll kind of be ping-ponging off of each other and we'll go from there.
All right, so I just went ahead and opened up PowerPoint here. I'm going to assume we're all starting from scratch. And Nick and I both talked about, we'll do some navigational stuff first and then show you some actual examples that we can build. So yeah, when you load into PowerPoint here, you can just hit blank presentation, or if you go into new, by the way, I am on a PC, not on a Mac, so the Mac layout may look slightly different, but everything should be there. If I go to new, I also have the option for blank presentation. You can actually also search for templates. So if you're actually making a presentation, so like you see where at the top it says blue spheres presentation, I just clicked on some random templates earlier, but you can search by different themes or colors, or you see there's even a suggested option for business right here. So, you can definitely look for some themes if you're needing to come up with some ideas here. But I'm just going to start on blank here just for ease of use. And then it gives you sometimes it pops up with this design ideas thing. This is a new thing they added in. I'm not a fan of it, but
oh my gosh, really? Because I love that tool. Oh my gosh, how funny.
So
I love that.
Usually I know what I'm doing in advance, but if you're at a loss for ideas, it's a good example. So I'm going to disable that for now. So yeah, along the top, it's got your traditional office ribbon here. So your access to your cut, copy, paste, your font selection, things like that is on this home tab here. There's also a button to add in a new slide here, and there's actually different layouts of slides if you're needing to do layouts. You don't have to do layouts. All those elements you can add in manually, but they are there. There is an insert section, so that's where you can add in pictures, videos, audio, text boxes, anything like that. So we'll definitely be playing around in there in a little bit. Under design, they do have, this is where you can actually access themes and color sizes and things like that. Over here on the right-hand side, there's an option that says slide size. So it defaults to widescreen 16:9 ratio, which is what most things use nowadays. But if you do want the 4:3 aspect ratio of older style presentation, you can get in there and change that. Then there is transitions. So I don't know, I'm sure you guys have all seen a PowerPoint where there's transitions, where when you click between the slides, it wipes the screen or does some cool animations. This is all under the transitions. We can show how to do that here in a little bit. The Zoom bar is in the way. Animations, so you can do animations where text pops up on the screen, graphics pop into the screen, things like that. And we'll go over that all at a different time here. And then you have the Slideshow tab. This is how you start your slideshow. Pretty straightforward. Review, if you want to do spell check, I'd recommend doing that on everything, of course. And then there's a view slide or a view tab where you can like add in, sometimes I'll add in the grid lines if I'm trying to, which is right here, to put a little grid on it so I can, make sure everything's straight on the screen. Or the ruler, same thing. It helps me, center things on the screen, things like that. Nick, anything else we want to add here on the ribbon before we start actually playing around with some ideas?
No, I think play around with it because I think that's
Yeah.
where like things actually come to life. But you know what's hilarious is you just showed the grid lines. I don't even think I knew that that existed. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. See, there you go.
So thank you for that.
So, so I'm just going to make up a quick example here with you guys. You can actually, one of the cool things you can do with PowerPoint is everything that's in there, once you make your presentation and things like that, is you can actually turn it into a JPEG, which is, you know, an image that you can post onto social media or just send the image to a client, things like that. So you can actually make up some cool graphics and send them out. So we're just going to make up a quick one here. So I'm going to go to our insert tab. I'm going to go to pictures. I'm going to go onto my computer and grab a picture real quick. I know you can't see me hunting for a picture on my computer here, so I'm going to throw it on here. So this is a picture of a house I took yesterday on my phone, of an upcoming listing here. And so it started out, this is a 4:3 ratio, you know, it's not filling up the whole slide here. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that. So if you've used Word before or Excel or PowerPoint in the past, you know, everything on Office works the same in terms of like resizing images or, you know, making tweaks to images, things like that. So I'm just going to stretch it out here so we fill up the whole screen here because I don't want the white borders on the side. One of the cool things on PowerPoint, and it's kind of hard to see via Zoom because I know Zoom kind of reduces the image quality, but as I'm stretching it here to try to get it to the edge, you'll notice, or I can notice, there's some red dots, and it actually kind of tries to snap to the edge of the slide so you don't like overshoot it or anything like that. I know that may sound a little confusing, but when you're actually doing this, like I said, it tries to snap things like into center or on the edge, things like that, so you're not missing anything. And then because now it's outside the boundaries, if you right click on an image or control click on Mac, you'll notice there's some options on a picture here, and one of them is crop. So let's say I did want to crop out some of this along the top here because it's going off of the slide here. If I click crop, I can drag the edge, and then same thing, it kind of shows the red dots of the edge of the slide here. And then same thing from the bottom, just gonna do that.
Yeah, this is her.
And say, Nick, do you mind muting since I gave you, perfect. So now I have my image, you know, set for the layout here. So let's say this is a coming soon. This is actually gonna be going on the market on Friday. So let's say I just wanted to make a quick coming soon post for Facebook. So I can just go up here, click on the shapes button, and they have some pre-made, you know, rectangles, things like that, because I find that if you just throw text on an image, if there's no like background on it, it can kind of, the text can kind of blur into the image. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. I don't like it, so I like putting like a box behind it. So there's this kind of rounded rectangle guy here. I'm gonna go and use that shape and kind of just draw this little rounded rectangle. You just left click, drag it into place and let go. And then I'm going to hit insert. And I'm going to click on text box to put text inside it here. And I'm just going to click right in the middle here to add text. And I'm just going to add in the words coming soon. You know, pretty straightforward. And then I'm gonna bump up the font size on it because we want to make sure it's readable, you know, when people are scrolling through on their phone real quick. So we have that. I'm gonna fix our box here so it, you know, just drag it so the box fits the size. And then if you go to along the top here, along the ribbon, when you have a shape or an element that you add in to your slide, and this works the same way on Word or Excel. There's a button that says shape format. It may say table format if you're doing a table in Excel, or a picture format, things like that. But I'm gonna hit shape format here. And so you see how it's kind of off center right now. And I don't have the ruler on or the grid lines on or anything like that. If you notice, there's a button right here that says align. And then when I mouse over it, it says align objects. If I hit align, I can actually hit, and then it says left, so push it to the left edge, push it to the right edge, you know, align it center, top, middle, bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and align center, get it in the center of the screen here. And then you can also adjust on this shape here, so that kind of rounded rectangle I put in here, you can adjust the shape colors. So if I wanted to, you know, make it stand out and put a yellow background on it, I could. I'll stick to some blue, so we keep on Coldwell Banker colors here, and then maybe put like a white box around the outside. When you're doing the shape outlines too, you'll notice that it's kind of like a thin white line around it. If you wanted to adjust that under shape outline, it's called the weight. It's under the color option here. So I could make it a little bit thicker so it stands out a little more on the box. And that's it. So, and then you can add in other elements too. So like, let's say if I wanted to add in the Coldwell Banker logo, same thing. I can insert, picture, you know, find the logo on my computer here. Which one is this? I want to make sure I get the right logo here. So let's say I wanted to add in the Coldwell Banker logo. You'll notice it brings it in full size. So I'm going, you know, resize it. We can throw this up here in the top right corner. And then we could add in, let's say I wanted to add in my agent photo, same thing. You could add that in, add in my picture here. Resize me for the bottom corner here. And like I said, it kind of snaps it to the bottom and snaps it to the edge, which is really cool. You know, you don't have to perfectly position it. And then I could also do this to add in more text too. So if I wanted to add in my contact info or anything like that, I definitely could. So Nick, do you want to add in anything more on this? You want to have me show a couple more ideas here? Or?
Show a couple more ideas, maybe show them how you save it as a JPEG and then share it, whatnot. That'd be kind of cool. So
another cool thing is, so let's say, you know, you want to make a suite of images, so to speak, for this property, because let's, you know, this is a listing, it's going to be coming soon. On Friday, it's going to go on the market. Hopefully, you know, over the weekend, it goes into escrow, you know, and then in a few weeks, it will close escrow. So if I wanted to keep this same template and then just change the text in the box there, you can actually copy and paste entire slides. So you can do it. So on the left-hand side here, when I see my slide, there's a few ways you can do it. You can just left-click on it and then use Control or Command-C to copy it, just like you would with text, and then Control or Command-V to paste it. Or you can also right-click on a slide, and you can actually hit Duplicate Slide here, and then it will make a clone of it. So if I wanted to now take this image, so now I have a image that's, and we'll say new listing, you know, we could do that. Then we could, you know, duplicate it again, put, you know, in escrow, and then we could make a fourth one that says just sold, right? So now we would have 4 images that we could use on social media, you know, ready to go, keeping the same format across all of them. So keeping that consistency, you know, for your brand awareness, things like that. So now we have, you know, our templates here. We have our 4 images. Okay, well, you can't upload a PowerPoint presentation into Facebook, for example, but you can turn it into a JPEG, so into an image here. So I can go up here to File. I can go to Save As. I just tell it where on my computer I want to save it. So we'll just save it onto the desktop here. And you'll notice that it says, you give it a file name. So Chapelette listing social media. And then, so then the dropdown, normally you would just save it as a PowerPoint, but you'll notice there's a bunch of different things that you can add in here. You could actually turn it into a PDF, but down here, towards the bottom of this list, there's the option to add it as a JPEG. So I can hit Save as JPEG. And when I hit Save, it's going to ask you, which slides do you want to export? You know, all the slides, just this one, or cancel. So if there was just one slide that you wanted out of your whole presentation, so let's say today I just wanted the coming soon image, I could hit just this one and it would grab that slide that I have selected. In this case, I'll just save all the slides. So they're all saved there. And then it says, you know, it's put it into a folder called Chapelette Listing Social Media. And if I switch my Zoom screen share settings and went over to find it, you could see that I have 4 images here. So let me go ahead and do that real quick.
That's really cool, Michael. I like that.
Yeah, so let me switch to this screen sharing here. All right, can you guys see my desktop and like my Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if I open up this folder here that it just made on my desktop called Chapelette Listing Social Media, it's got my 4 slides in here. And, you know, takes a second to load, but you can see here I have this image. It's in a JPEG. I could just post it to Facebook. Real easy now. You know, I could go onto Facebook, hit and upload this as an image here. So you can, like I said, you can keep that consistency across, you know, your branding, you know, real easy by duplicating it there. So Nick, what do we want to cover next here?
I can share my screen and show them kind of like what, unless you have a presentation that you want to show them as well.
Why don't you go and do that? So
Okay, let me share my screen.
let you go over here.
Any questions so far from what Michael shared?
And I know how it is, guys, while Nick's getting this loaded. It's one of those things until you try to do it yourself, it makes sense, and then you'll go, oh my gosh, panic. You know, feel free to reach out to Nick and I when you guys have questions on it. So what does it mean when a property goes into escrow and goes off escrow? Into escrow, you know, when an offer is accepted, you know, it goes into pending or active under contract on the MLS. That's what I would define as in escrow. You know, we have an accepted offer, and, you know, off escrow, you know, if it fell out of escrow, you know, it goes back to active, or, you know, it's out of escrow, of course, when it sells too. So
can you guys see my PowerPoint?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that for a second. So this is basically like a presentation that I've walked a lot of my new agents through on my Monday morning training. And we kind of went through and created this together, because it was kind of like, you know, hey, if you're going to do a Zoom call, especially right now with doing like home buyer seminars, you know, we keep talking about, hey, you know, home buyer seminars advertised as an event on Facebook and Instagram are actually generating a lot of leads. So this is an example of something that I kind of went through and created of what an agent could just basically take. And I'm happy to share this with anybody on the call today. Some of the information is going to be a little bit outdated. So if you want this, let me know. I can email you over the PowerPoint. But all I did, going back to what Michael was sharing earlier, was up here under design, I really just took one of their pre-existing templates that they had, and I just like this green kind of more modern design. That's really all that I did. And then I plugged in my logo. It actually came with this little animated piece here with this person kind of reaching out to the screen. And then I inputted a text box, inserted text box here, and then put my information here. I mean, that's basically all that I did. And then just as a general rule of thumb, I've noticed some of the more successful people who do a lot of presentations, they do kind of an intro slide about themselves. So here I just went ahead and created a bullet pointed list of, you know, who I am, what I do. And basically how I did that was up here under insert, just like Michael did. I went ahead and I took a text box, drew it out, click on text box here at the top, draw this out here. And then up here under home, I went ahead and I selected that I wanted bullet points. That's really all that I did. And then I was able to create this little list here with these little green arrows in case you were wondering. You know, he doesn't like the design ideas. I personally love them. So for those of you that want to like make it look pretty, you know, like what's funny is this was me just creating a text box here at the top and a text box here. But like this slide was a design idea. So what I had done was I went onto this slide. I put what the agenda was going to be for my home buying seminar, right? Like what's happening to the market, crash or no crash, should you rent, should you own, low loan programs that are out there, like all the stuff that a home buyer seminar I thought should cover, right? Well, I just typed these out. And then at the very top here, I've got this little design tab. And there's this little piece of paper with a lightning bolt in the corner here. And if you click on it, it makes basically everything pretty. That's how I like to look at it. It basically just takes your idea and makes it look way better. So again, I totally get it. Like if you know what you're going to get on here and do, you don't need these design ideas. But if you know what you want to say, but you don't know how to package it up and make it look nice, if I select any of these, it automatically changes the look of my presentation, all staying within the template that I've chosen. Does that make sense? So this has been a way for me to kind of, again, jumpstart my presentation. I know what I want to say. It's not going to write anything for you, but at least it's going to package it up and make it look nice. So same thing here, you know, where we are. I was talking at the time about, you know, how mortgage rates were acting and how they were trending downward at a period of time and how they're coming up, so on and so forth. Housing crash. You know, again, this presentation is very like the initial part of COVID, basically, was when we were doing this. But again, in order to do these types of graphics, like going back to this, all I had done, same thing going back to what Michael was saying, is that I really just dragged an image and put it in here. So up here under insert, I went ahead, insert to picture here, picture from, I think file actually is what I chose on my computer. Yeah. And then it just lets you search throughout your computer whatever you want to input. It's very, 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 very simple. For instance, I don't even know what this is. Let's hope it's not something scary. Oh, that's me and my people. There you go. So this is just a zoom shot. But you see, again, just like Michael said, there's not much to it, guys. I mean, you play with the photos however you want to drag them, put them around on your screen, you know, delete them if you want. Just to kind of go over, again, some basic principles, because I like to use this for trainings and whatnot. And I know sometimes people are like, well, where do you begin if you're going to do a presentation for somebody? Always make sure that you have a cover slide that can be sitting on the screen when you're going to present. Again, I think an intro slide is always good, and always set the agenda. I think that's a huge crucial part of this. And I think a lot of my agents at least are asking, you know, hey, what is PowerPoint? How do I use it? So on and so forth. These are just some best practices that I have found that work really well. And again, it's a lot like Canva when I've taught in the past. It's a creative platform. So it's really at your disposal for anything that you want to create. I don't know if there's much more to cover, Michael. Anything else coming through chat that I should talk about?
If somebody from our company has not seen your, you know, buyer seminar tool and they just want to get a sample of this, can they just email you? Is that the best?
Yeah, just email me.
What's your email so I can type it in the chat for everybody?
I'll type it in.
Okay.
I'll type it in there. Yeah, you guys can easily have it and modify it to be your own. But yeah, I think PowerPoint, you know, it's funny when we agreed to do this class today, it's like, you know, for me, it's a very simple platform. I don't think there's a lot of craziness to it, but again, just like Canva, you have to get on here, you have to play with it, you have to figure stuff out. You know, there's really not a whole lot, to me, of crazy thought that goes into it. And what's also nice too, is like up here at the very top, like, let's say I go through this whole presentation, I'm just really not digging the vibe that it has. I can go ahead and just change it with one click of a button, and then boom, I've got an entirely different format for all my slides just by clicking one button. Now, again, it doesn't line up, so I can click here, drag this over a little bit, and then boom, it looks a little nicer now. Maybe I don't like the way this looks at this point, so I go ahead and take that guy off, move my home with Nick over here. And again, it's giving me tons of design ideas over off to the side in case I don't like anything that it kind of spit back out at me. So, yeah.
I say I want to show a couple more things here, so let's
go for it.
Let's switch back here. Let me open up a different presentation first. And so those of us in our company, we have our virtual listing presentations that we made. And so I know that's what we got a lot of questions on. So I want to show a couple things on that. So let me hit share screen here. That. All right, so and let me get my chat window back open here. Every time you start sharing the screen, it redoes like all your settings here. So,
I know, isn't that fun?
The world of Zoom, guys. I talked about transitions earlier. So, you know, if I just played this guy here. Oh, let me fix this. Hold on, I did the wrong screen sharing settings here. Let me do this. Okay, so if I was going to just play our thing, and you know, there's the slide transitions. So I can go to transitions here. Let's say I just wanted a nice little, you know, wipe to the side here. I can hit this wipe guy, and it will just in between, it will just do that little wipe across the screen. So once you know, you can scroll through the different options. I would recommend, of course, if you're doing it on like Zoom or something like that, remember Zoom sometimes kind of lag on screen sharing on video. So don't go with something too crazy. You know, you can do, there's cool slide transitions where I can show you guys, you know, we can get, you know, it folds up into a piece of origami and stuff like that. But, you know, I like simple. I call myself a tech minimalist. I don't like going too crazy on this stuff. So, you know, I'm just going to, for example, use this basic wipe here. They even have effect options, so you could do wipe in different directions. So if I wanted to go from the left instead of the right, I can do all that. And you'll notice if you, once you find a transition you like, you can actually just hit this button here that says apply to all. And then now every single slide has that same transition in between it, which is really cool. And then the other thing is animations. So if you are, when you're going through a PowerPoint, if you want things to pop up on the screen or, you know, appear or, you know, float in, things like that. So let's just say like this slide right now, if I go to animations, if I hit preview, you'll notice it will like pop up with my name and pop up with Tom's name. If I wanted like our pictures to pop in like that too, I click on the element, you know, so that's the picture or the text box or anything like that that I want to have an animation added in. If I want to have multiple things come in at the same time, I can actually hold down the control key and it will let me select multiple things at once. So I want both of our pictures to come in at the same time. So I'm going to add, I held down the control key to pick both of them. And then I want us to fly in here. So I click that, and then it will have us fly in. And then once again, I can hit the preview button to see what that's going to look like. So it's going to pop in with names. And then our pictures are going to literally fly in like that. If you get things and they get out of order, so you notice how it says like 0, 0, 0, and then 1, 1. If things end up out of order, like I wanted our pictures to come in, then our names, they do have the ability to reorder it over on the right side here. I also find it easier to use this guy called the Animation Pane. And when I do that, you can actually see the order of what's popping in and when. You can actually drag and drop it into a different order here. So you can put it into the order they want or that you want. You know, same thing, like we have these graphs here. We set it up so these graphs, the bars load in automatically for the bars for the Coldwell Banker sales in the communities. You could actually go through and you could make every single bar pop up at the same time if you really wanted to do that. It's just personal preference on those. So you can make your tweaks. And part of why I wanted to show that is you can actually turn your slideshow into a video. And I was talking to Nick earlier, and he didn't even know that you could do that. I forgot about it. I just remembered like today when I was playing around with PowerPoint before this. And that's pretty cool that you can do that. So, hold on, so on the home screen here, we can go to the file. So I showed you guys how to save as earlier. If I go down here to share, not share, I just clicked the wrong button. There we go. If I go to export, not share, there's a few options here. You can turn it into a PDF. So if you did also if you made a really cool presentation, you wanted to make it a PDF that you can email to people, that's great too. You can click on PDF. But I can hit create a video here. And so you'll notice it will say, you know, what resolution, that's the first box. I want full HD, why not? And it says at the top, it says includes all recorded timings, narrations, ink strokes, laser point gestures, and preserves animations, transitions, and media. So if you have a video embedded into it, if you have, you know, your transitions, your animations, it will actually save all of those in there. And then time spent on each slide. We'll just leave it as 5 seconds, that's the default. You could also, there is a way, and it's if you wanted to do this, we'll walk you through it separately. You can actually time your slideshow so things go off automatically and whatnot, which is cool. But if you're doing a presentation and you have everything set to go automatically and then somebody interrupts you and asks you a question, now your whole timing's thrown off. So I don't do timings. But if you do want to learn that, I'll teach you, or Nick and I can teach you, separately. But I'm just going to go ahead and create video here. It asks me where I want to save the video. We'll just save it onto the desktop here. And it's going to take a minute to export. You'll notice down at the bottom, there's a little bar showing my progress here. It could take a few minutes to go through this here. So we'll open it up for Q&A in the meantime, and I'll show you that we can play the video here in just a minute. So.
Oh, Michael, something else. Show them, like, you see how you can click to add notes at the bottom of each slide?
Yeah.
That's also something that's really cool too. So for those of you that are presenting, like especially if you're doing like a seminar or a listening presentation, you can actually make notes for yourself on each of the slides. So as you're presenting it, nobody can see the actual notes for the slide, only you can see them. So you can read notes while you're presenting. So let's say you forget like company stats, or you forget, a bullet point that you wanted to highlight on a buyer seminar or whatever. You can write it down below, and it's kind of like a cheat sheet for every slide that pops up. So the public will only see your presentation while you've got kind of this, Cliff Notes version of what you want to talk about. It's pretty cool.
Correct. And you can also print your notes. So where like you could actually turn when it said create a PDF, you could create a PDF with your notes. So if you prefer not the digital notes where you might forget it on the screen and you just prefer a quick paper handout to look down at real quick, you can do that and have your notes show up on the PDF.
Daniel's asking, can you add music to your video?
As far as I know, you can't add music that will autoplay across the whole slideshow. You can add in music onto a slide, but I don't believe it would continue after you go off of that slide. So
what you could do is download, I guess, the video, right, Michael, onto a different platform like iMovie or something, and then obviously add a music track throughout your video that you created.
Correct. So that's what I would recommend too. Yeah. So on Mac, you have iMovie. On Windows, you can actually just do it in Windows, like the photo and movie viewer. There's a way that you can add in audio to that. Now, remember, if you are going to be doing audio that's like a music that's going to play across the whole thing, you probably want to find some stuff that allows you to use it without paying a royalty. You can technically just rip off any song or whatever, but you should look for royalty-free music. And there are sites that I don't know the names of all the sites off the top of my head.
Just Google royalty-free music. You'll be fine.
Yeah, royalty-free music. You're right.
You'll be fine. There'll be plenty of options to find.
So, because it is for business purpose, and the chance that somebody would stumble into it is low. That owns the rights to those music, but you don't want to get a Facebook takedown notice or a YouTube takedown notice or anything like that. So we want to try to avoid those kind of things. So.
Exactly.
Looks like we're about halfway through our exporting here. This PowerPoint presentation is like 150 megabytes on its own. So can you give specific slides for different presentations? Say the first three, then the last two, but keep the template. Yeah, so there's actually a way that you, so let's say on that other presentation I had, I actually still have it open here. We're just gonna use this one as an example here while that other one's exporting. There's actually a way that so I just have these 4 slides here, and if I played the presentation, it would show all 4 slides. But if you were going to give a presentation and you have some templates and stuff that you don't want them to see during the presentation, you can actually just right-click or control-click on Mac, and you'll notice there's a button that says Hide Slide. And if you do that, the slide, you saw it kind of did that gray out animation right there, and now it has a slash through the number 1 there. If you actually went to play the presentation in front of somebody, it would skip any slide that you choose to hide. So, that would be great if you have, like I said, templated items, or let's say you have a home buyer seminar and you have sections on different loan types, but then you're going to do a home buyer seminar specifically on VA. So you want to take out the stuff on FHA and conventional. You could hide those slides, but then you're not losing it in the future. So just don't forget it. When you're done, you can right click and hit hide slide again to unhide it. So in the future presentations, it's not going to get skipped.
Hey, Michael, maybe take a slide. I think also the question is also like, if you have a slide from a different presentation, can you throw it in here? So maybe take a slide from your other presentation that you just had open, put it into this one.
Yeah, so I could right click it. I can hit copy.
Like say you wanted to take it from this presentation and put it in the other one.
And then I can go back to the other presentation. I can hit paste. And you'll notice when I hit right click and I hit paste, it says use destination theme. So if you had a theme, like a template set or a theme from one presentation and you want all the elements to be there, but be on the theme of the presentation you're putting it in, you could do that. Keep source formatting, so that keeps it as the original from what you're copying it from. So you just need to pick the option that's relevant there. So I'll just keep the source formatting, and then it puts it in there. So you can copy and paste across slideshows, and it will keep the animations, it will keep the transitions. It will, if you say keep source formatting, it will literally keep everything the same. So, and then how about as a PDF? When you go to turn it into a PDF, if I hit export here, and then I hit create PDF, it does just do all the slides unless you choose to hide slides. So you'll notice here on the save window, you guys can see the save window on the screen, right?
Yeah.
I'll make sure I did the right zoom share option.
Yeah, you're good.
If I hit options on this PDF, you'll notice it says all slide, current slide, selection. You could also say like slides 1 to 5, or you could hit, and then you say publish what slides, handouts, note page. But you can say include hidden slides if you wanted all of them, or by default, it does not include any slides that you hide. So I think that answers your question there. We're almost done on exporting here. It's I should have loaded in a smaller PowerPoint to use, but now that we're exported here, I can go here. I have on my desktop, it saved it as virtual listing presentation. And it's just going to open in the default movie player here. You'll see it's a nice 2-minute and 40-second video. There's my animations I just added in. Like I said, it's staying on a slide for 5 seconds by default. That's what it's programmed in for by default. You can choose to lengthen or shrink that time. One of the cool things I think you guys could do with this is if you're going to be doing a virtual open house. I know Derek's on the call. He and I talked on the phone for about 20 minutes the other day about ideas of for virtual open houses and videos and things like that. If you had all the photos from a photographer, and then let's say you didn't have a videographer involved, you could actually just put all the photos into a slideshow, add in transitions, and maybe even some animations and some text boxes. So you could add in a text box that says, primary bedroom. It still is weird saying primary bedroom, by the way, but you could put in and it says guest bathroom, upgraded kitchen. You could add in text boxes, animations, things like that, some transitions. And then you could go on here and you can export it as a video. And then if you're doing a virtual open house, you could have this video playing instead of just clicking through the images one at a time, and it's just going to be playing on its own. So I think that's a good idea. I'm sure Nick likes the idea too. I didn't even mention that to you earlier, but
I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah. So you don't need to, you don't really need to pay for some fancy video editing program or anything like that. If you have PowerPoint, you can make simple videos like that. So yeah, so I'm gonna stop this playing here.
Jeanette's asking if she can get a copy.
Yeah, just email us. Our marketing department made these for our company. I don't know, Nick, have we shared? I think we shared this with Casey. So
yeah, I think it's shared with Casey.
So,
now let me ask you this, Michael. So when you have a video playing on one of the slides, it said 5 seconds for each slide. Will it bypass or will it let the video play till the video's over?
Yeah, so it will override it for the slide. So like if I go back on the recording here, like this slide here this video we shot, Adam and I actually shot this during COVID and lockdown and stuff. This is actually a video that plays on the slide, and it's about a 10-second long clip of, wiping down surfaces and putting on gloves and booties and whatnot, and staying safe. So it was more than 5 seconds, that little clip. So it will play for the entire time. So
Super cool.
it's a great question.
Love it.
I say, it's 12:45. We're here for any other questions you guys have. You know, pick our brains on PowerPoint here. I know it's like I said, until you guys go in and start playing with it, you may not know what questions you have. So feel free to reach out to both Nick and myself, and we'll.
Hey, Michael, do you want to type your email into the
Done.
chat? Oh, good. Cool. There you go.
I do have 2 monitors, so that's why I'm like, you know,
Like, what's
looking
going
off to the
on?
side there. So,
Michael,
yes.
so my notary job is over, thank God. Quick question on the listing presentation slides. There's a couple that are supposed to be animated, and they are not animated for me. Where would I go to make them like animated?
Yeah, so I pulled it back up here. So let's just say we wanted to use
Like the guy in the car, number 15. That does
Number-
not do anything for me.
Okay, so this slide here, let's see if I can make it play here. So this one has an embedded video on it, okay? And like if I moused over it, you can see that there's a video that plays. If you
Right.
go to this animations tab along the top here, and I pull up the animation page, you should see that there is a video set to play when you go onto the slide. So if not, you actually will have to manually add in the animation. So if I click on it, you'll see at the top under this animations bar, because it's a video, instead of saying like fly in or appear or anything like that.
Okay, wait, so
you'll
you're
notice it-
under animations and then
Yes.
you're under what? Because I don't even see,
So-
my bar does not
Yeah.
look like your bar.
Okay, because you have a Mac, so it does look slightly
So
different.
would
I
it be
know. So,
animation pane?
yeah, you can see it on the animation page. But like I said, if you click on the animations tab, then you left
I'm on
click on
that.
and then left click on the video.
Okay,
So you see at the top it says like none, multiple, play, pause, stop.
oh yeah,
So you would left click on it and then you would hit play, and then it will set up the animation, so it will start playing the video.
no, it's not.
Right. Well, we can
well,
work on
okay,
it
now it
separately,
is.
but yeah, that's
Okay, it's playing now, so how would I get this to play in my presentation slideshow?
so once you add in the animation, it will start
It will.
playing when you click through it. So
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, 'cause-
animations and transitions are really set up for when you're actually in like go mode, like show mode.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're on PowerPoint editing mode, it doesn't play animations by default unless you come to this animations tab and you click on this preview button, and then you can see what animations are set up for it. So in this case, it was just play the video on here. So
okay,
um,
okay.
yeah. So I know it sounds kind of weird, but you'll also notice like it says like up here, there's another option. I didn't touch on it earlier, but see how it says start on click?
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah,
how
I
that's
switched
set up.
mine to start on click, so hopefully that'll work.
So that means what will happen is the slide will load, and then you'll hit click, you'll click, the arrow or the mouse, and then it will take that animation, in this case, play. So you can also set it to start with previous or after previous. So what would happen is like on a video like this, if you hit start after previous, when you would click onto the slide, it would actually start playing the video automatically instead of waiting for you to click. So
Okay,
that's kind of a personal preference there. I like on click because then I can click, wait for it to load, start talking, then click play, as opposed to if you click after previous, it starts going automatically. And I've accidentally clicked through slides before in the past where I have stuff set to go after previous. I like on click because it's all my control. So that's like personal experience from doing presentations and stuff like that. I don't know if Nick agrees with that statement or not, but no pressure. Put you on the spot here.
okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Michael,
There's
This
so
is
much I can
Roxy.
say.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Roxy.
Roxy.
listen, about the presentation on the CBX, can you do the same thing here? I mean, on the CBX,
Well, CBX is different because it is a proprietary thing and it's its own platform where you control it. So you're not going to have all these options to do it. So this is more, like I said, more for making custom presentations. In this case, like we have our virtual listing presentation here for our company, or like Nick said, you know, if you wanted to make a home buyer seminar, or like I said, a slideshow of photos for a virtual open house. Now that you guys know, you can do it that way. So
yeah, I mean, you could technically create these slides. Now the videos you'd have to plug in from YouTube. You know, the only way the videos will play on CBX is if they're connected to like an actual platform that is hosting it. So you can go ahead and plug in the videos and stuff to your CBX as well. And you also, like Michael was showing us earlier, he created JPEGs off of some of his slides. So you could actually make these into JPEGs, and then you could plug them into your CBX as well as a custom slide. So that is possible, like especially the one he's got in front of us right here with, like, it wouldn't obviously have the animation, but it is a beautiful slide kind of showing Tom and Michael together as a team. So this could be something you could download as an image, upload it to your CBX, and that would work too.
Okay.
that's a great idea. So
Thank you.
Good question though.
yeah. All right. Any other questions while we're here? So.
Yeah, guys, I mean, if there aren't any more questions, I think the biggest thing, again, a lot like Canva, a lot like a lot of tools, it's what you make of it. There's like kind of a creative playground in a way. I mean, you saw how many cool things Michael showed us with the transitions, animations, you know, how you can change the fonts, colors, add images, take away images, all kinds of stuff. And then you saw the design ideas tab from what I was showing you earlier. So make it your own, have fun with it. It's definitely one of those things that it is what you make it. So
yeah. And PowerPoint is actually, like, all of Microsoft Office, actually, Word, Publisher, Excel, PowerPoint, they're actually all really powerful tools that you don't realize unless you actually dive into them. It's like I was joking with Courtney about Excel earlier. When I was in high school, I actually learned how to do calculus in Microsoft Excel. You know, you can do calculus equivalent stuff with PowerPoint. You just, you know, it can be as complex as you want it to be, and there's a lot of really cool tools to take advantage of. So.
Very cool. Yeah, and kind of like for Joni that just said, you know, never done it, so it's a lot to take in. I'm noticing a lot of people have never touched a lot of the, you know, Microsoft tools. Like I noticed a lot of people haven't touched a lot of, like I talked to somebody the other day and they've never touched, you know, Excel. They've never tried it. So I'm like, you know, a lot of this stuff, you kind of got to get in there, just play around. There's tons of YouTube tutorials on all of this stuff too. So if you don't like the way myself or Michael said it today, there's lots of other people that talk about it as well. But thank you. Michael taught me like 5 or 6 things today, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, so, well, if we don't have any other questions, we'll wrap it up here a little early, let you guys get a slightly earlier lunch today than a normal day. And then tomorrow we have our panel once again. So Vicky will be hosting that. So.
And please do not forget about AMP, guys. AMP is an amazing opportunity.
Yes.
I put my email in the chat earlier. If you want to email me for an RSVP, or again, if you're at CBABR, please sign up with the cohort that Vicky's going to be providing. If you're at Coastal Alliance, sign up with ours. And if you're at another company, they have their own cohort as well. So you're all welcome to join us for AMP. All right?
All right. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Bye, guys.